My beloved child, before your thumb moves, before you answer, listen to me in the deepest place of your heart. This is not merely a social moment, this is a spiritual moment. A small sound has awakened a familiar pull, a name has lit your screen, and your heart leans forward as if the brightness itself could carry you to safety. But hear me, not every brightness is dawn, not every spark is a hearth, and not every pull is a path I approve. As it is written, you shall hear a word behind you saying, "This is the way, walk in it." Isaiah 30:21. I am that quiet voice of your path, and I speak now to steady you where the noise has often rushed you. Chemistry can be loud, beloved, but covenant is steady. Intensity can be thrilling, but instruction is holy and clear. Emotion can come like a wave, but wisdom arrives like a river, deep and consistent, shaping the land without shouting. Therefore, I do not want you to be led by what surges for a moment. I am teaching you to be led by what remains after the surge. My voice does not need to rush you. My presence does not need to panic you. As it is written, the wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy and good fruits. James 3:17. Learn then to recognize the difference between noise that excites and wisdom that anchors. The battlefield is not out there in some distant future. It is here between notification and response, in the 3 heartbeats where your soul decides whether to guard its peace or trade it away. This small space has been the doorway where timelines changed, and peace was spent cheaply for the promise of closeness. I am not shaming you for those moments. I am standing in this one with you, reclaiming that doorway as holy. Your next text can honor your future or feed a familiar ache. It can be an offering to my leading or a surrender to a pattern that has captured you before. I am not condemning you for feeling the ache. I am inviting you to no longer be ruled by it. I know how deeply you love. I formed that depth. I celebrate its beauty. A heart that loves readily is not weakness, it is design. I do not blame you for having warmth, I bless you for it. But beloved, a precious garden must have a holy fence. The fence does not make the garden cold, it keeps the garden beautiful. The fence does not forbid roses, it protects them from the trampling of feet that do not understand their worth. Guard your heart with all diligence, for from it flow the springs of life. Proverbs 4:23. I am not asking you to stop loving, I am teaching you to stop confusing intensity with my leading. There is a difference between a voice that flatters and a voice that builds, between a pull that drains and a presence that keeps you upright. You have often mistaken urgency for importance, pressure for purpose, and the flood of feeling for the flow of my spirit. Hear me gently and clearly. Urgency is not my voice. I am the Lord of your breaths, and I never need to steal them to get your attention. The spirit I give is not of fear, but of power and love and a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. If your mind is no longer sound, if your breath shortens, if your spine bends under someone's push, pause. That moment between ping and reply is an altar. Step onto it as a priest of your own heart. Bring this name, this pull, this sentence you want to send, and place it before me. I am not far, I am here, and my peace is not fragile. It is a guard, a sentinel at your gate. As it is written, the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your heart and your mind in Christ Jesus. Philippians 4:7. Let that guard do its work. You are learning to discern the difference between a mirror and a map. Chemistry often mirrors your hunger back to you. Covenant maps you forward into health. Chemistry says, see how alive you feel, keep chasing this surge. Covenant asks, see how whole you become, keep walking in this truth. Chemistry begs to be kept alive by constant feeding. Covenant can withstand a pause, a prayer, a test, and even silence. What I author does not demand constant reassurance to exist. It breathes on its own because it carries my breath. Do not call this training a theft of joy. It is the alignment of joy with truth. I am not taking color from your world. I am protecting your soul from counterfeits that paint fast and fade faster. You have said, but it feels so real, and I answer, reality that is from me leaves you more rooted, not more frantic, more honest, not more hidden, more alive, not more depleted. The thrill of recognition is not the same as the safety of recognition. I know you by name, and I speak your identity without confusing your steps. Whoever seeks to enter your holy ground must meet me at the gate, and if they will not, let the fence stand and let peace remain. So before your thumb moves, inhale with me. Invite me into the small space that decides more than you realize. You are not weak for slowing down. You are wise. You are not cold for testing the connection. You are consecrated. There are doors that open easily because they are on broken hinges. There are doors that resist because they are well guarded and sacred. I am teaching you the weight of your yes and the protection of your no. Not every ringing bell requires your answer. Not every open door was opened by me. If you wonder whether this is too strict, listen again to my tenderness. I do not condemn your longing. I sanctify it. I do not despise your capacity to feel. I refine it. I do not silence your love. I set it to the rhythm of heaven so it can last. Your future is not served by giving today's peace to yesterday's wound. Your covenant, yes, that holy future I am preparing, is built by small, faithful choices made in hidden places. Choose me here, at the screen, in the pause, with the sentence half formed and the heart half sure. Place your desire in my hands, and let peace be the witness that you are not trading away what I am building for what merely shouts the loudest. Walk with me now. Let the guard stand. Let the garden be fenced. You are not being asked to stop loving. You are being taught to stop confusing intensity with my leading. And as you honor this moment as holy, you will feel the quiet victory that carries you past the old patterns into the life I promised. Steady as covenant, clear as instruction, gentle as a voice that never has to shout to be obeyed. My beloved child, come closer and listen with the quiet part of you that I have been strengthening. There is one thing I want you to test before your thumb moves, one question that will tell the truth faster than any sweet phrase or remembered feeling. When they reach for you, what happens to your peace? Not, do you miss them? Not, did they make you laugh once? Not, is the chemistry alive? But this, does your inner world move toward steadiness, or does it slip toward obsession? Does your breath deepen, or does it shorten? Does your mind become clear, or does it crowd with second-guessing and fantasies you cannot hold in daylight? I have placed a sentinel at the gate of your heart, and that sentinel's name is peace. As it is written, the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your heart and your mind in Christ Jesus. Philippians 4:7. That peace is not a wallpaper you paste over worry. It is a living guard who raises a hand and says, wait, when danger dresses itself as delight. Beloved, if you must hush the guard to open the gate, you already have your answer. If you must explain away the quickening anxiety, rename spinning thoughts as excitement, or dim your awareness so the door can swing wide, then you are not being led by me. You are negotiating against your own protection. Do not confuse peace with numbness. Numbness is the frost that falls when you disconnect from yourself to avoid pain. Peace is the warmth that remains when truth stands and fear loses its voice. Peace does not flatten color. It removes the static so you can see the true hues. Peace does not erase desire. It rightly orders it, granting you holy restraint without strangling your heart. Peace allows you to pause without panic, to answer slowly without fear of loss, to say, "Not yet," or even "No," and still feel the smile of heaven within. As it is written, "Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts." Colossians 3:15. Let it rule, beloved. Let it be the umpire who declares safe or out, not your loneliness, not their flattery, not the urgency that has so often impersonated destiny. Hear me. What I author can stand after the emotion settles. What is truly from me does not require you to break your own boundaries to keep it breathing, does not insist on immediate answers to survive, does not demand secrecy to feel special, does not pull you out of prayer to keep pace with the ping. My voice, when it brings someone near, will not drain your attention from me or make your ribs feel like a cage. It will widen your chest with presence, and even if there are questions still unanswered, there will be a deep line of quiet that says, "You are safe to wait." The wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable. James 3:17. Now test it simply, honestly, in the space where truth has no reason to hide. When their name lights your screen, do you feel anchored or agitated? Does your appetite for me increase, or does your prayer fold in on itself, replaced by rehearsals of what to say to keep them close? Are you more present to your life in the next hour or less? Does your body soften into breath or tighten at the thought of pleasing them? Are you drawn into the light toward clarity, confession, and alignment, or into the shade toward rationalizations, secrecy, and delayed consequences you choose not to examine? The guard knows. Ask the guard and be willing to accept the answer, given by the one who loves you more than the moment loves you. Counterfeit connections often arrive with a bright pull and leave a residue. They stir a sweetness laced with hurry, a compliment braided with compromise, an attention that requires you to shrink your truth to keep it. After the exchange, you find restlessness clinging to you like smoke, a second guessing that will not settle unless you reach out again for another hit, a subtle drift from the things that keep you sound. You feel more devout about this person than about my presence, more committed to checking your phone than checking your heart. This is not condemnation, it is diagnosis. As it is written, God has not given you a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. If the connection unthreads your soundness, rename the thrill what it is, pressure-wearing perfume. Beloved, consider the opposite. When a presence is authored by me, the room inside you gets bigger. You notice you do not need to rush. You can think a whole thought without losing yourself in it. You can pray without pretending, and the prayer is not bargaining with me for permission, but resting with me for direction. Even if there is attraction, even if there is hope, there is space to breathe and a willingness to wait for the light of day to confirm what the night whispers. You do not feel purchased by promises. You feel strengthened by truth. You are more honest, not less. More yourself, not a curated version designed to be chosen. This is peace doing its work as a guard, and when the guard nods, you may proceed slowly, with me at your side, and no panic pulling your sleeve. Therefore, before you text them back, place one hand on your heart and ask with me, what is the witness of my peace? If your soul answers with steadiness, if the guard remains at his post unthreatened, if silence does not feel like loss but like wisdom, then you are free to respond from the center, not from the ache. But if the question itself makes you scramble for reasons to justify a reply, if your mind produces narratives to override the heaviness, if you must check with 3 friends to silence the check within, then honor the sentinel I gave you. Let me have your yes in the pause, and we will protect what you truly want by refusing what only pretends to be it. I do not scold you for the old pattern of answering urgency with urgency. I am retraining your reflexes to respond to peace, I am not asking you to distrust every kindness. I am asking you to trust the sign I placed within you more than the story placed before you. A relationship that begins in panic will require panic to be maintained. A connection that begins under the rule of peace will mature under the rule of peace. What is true is not afraid of time, not afraid of prayer, not afraid of light. What is counterfeit is only strong in the dark and only persuasive when you are tired. Stand in the light with me. Bring the question here. Test your peace. And when you test, remember this unchanging mercy. I am not withholding love from you. I am withholding confusion from you. I am not blocking a future. I am blessing it. Your yes is holy. Your no is holy. The fence is holy. Let peace, my guard, determine who is allowed to approach and how close they may come. What comes from me can stand with you after the emotion settles. It can look you in the eye in the morning without a script. Walk with me in this, my beloved child, and you will stop trading away your stillness for a promise that cannot keep it, and you will learn the strength of a life led by my peace. My beloved child, now I will place a simple practice in your hands, for wisdom that is not walked becomes a song you forget. When the name lights your screen and the pull rises like a tide, do this with me. Set the phone down, face down as if laying a small offering upon an altar, and place your hand upon your chest. Feel the rise and fall that I keep steady. Even when the moment tries to speed you, let your feet find the ground. Look at nothing for a heartbeat and come home to yourself before you travel to anyone else. This is the doorway. This is the holy delay that breaks the spell. As it is written, be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. Know me first, then know what to do. Beloved, urgency is often a leash that pretends to be love. I do not drive you with panic. I lead you with light. As it is written, He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. Psalm 23 verses 2-3. Therefore, let stillness rise before your sentence does. I am not asking you to ignore anyone. I am asking you to remember who you are and whose you are before you answer. Delay in my hands is not avoidance, it is allegiance. It is not cowardice, it is consecration. Whoever believes will not be in haste. Isaiah 28:16. Believe me enough to slow down. Trust me enough to be untethered from the whip of now. Here is your rhythm, simple and repeatable. A rope you can hold when waters move fast. 3 breaths and 3 questions. First breath, slow in, slower out. Let the exhale be longer than the inhale, for release is longer than reach when you walk with me. While you breathe, ask, what is the witness of my peace in this moment? Not what do I wish it were, not what did it used to be, but what is it now? If peace nods, you will feel room in your chest. If peace raises a hand, you will feel the tug to wait. Let that be enough to pause. Second breath, slow in, slower out. Ask, what story is urgency telling me, and is my voice saying the same? Urgency often promises that love will leave if you do not perform. It declares that your worth hangs on making them comfortable. It insists that kindness is speed. But I say, in returning and rest you shall be saved. In quietness and in trust shall be your strength. Isaiah 30:15. Does my spirit require you to hurry, to hide, to hold your breath? Or am I inviting you to stand where the light is, to put every feeling under my gaze until it loses the need to run? Third breath, slow in, slower out. Ask, what boundary honors what I am forming in me right now? Not the boundary that punishes, but the one that protects. Not the fence built from fear, but the holy fence built from wisdom and love. You may say, I will reply later. You may say, I need clarity before I continue. You may say, no. These are not weapons. These are instruments of stewardship. As it is written, desire without knowledge is not good, and whoever makes haste with his feet misses his way. Proverbs 19:2. Let knowledge, holy, peace-tested knowledge, go before your desire. This pause is a liturgy. It is a small prayer your body can remember when your mind is crowded. Every time you set the phone down, you are not ignoring them. You are honoring me and honoring you. You are saying, I am a child of peace, not a captive of panic. I answer from identity, not from ache. This is worship, my child, not withdrawal. To pause is to enthrone me in the space where you have often enthroned hurry. To breathe is to confess, you, Lord, are the keeper of my times, not a ping, not a pull, not a promise untested. Do not be afraid that this holy delay will cost you love. What is authored by me is not terrified of time. It does not wilt in the sunlight of a slow answer. It does not demand entrance through pressure. If a connection cannot abide 3 breaths, it cannot abide a lifetime. If a voice panics when you honor your peace, it has already told you who its master is. As it is written, for all who are led by the Spirit of God are sons of God. Romans 8:14. Led, not chased, guided, not grabbed. Remember this too. The spell is not the person. The spell is the rush that makes you forget to test. When you pause in the doorway, the enchantment breaks. The colors return to true shade. The sentences you were about to send dissolve and reform as something simpler, truer, cleaner. You feel me again, not as a distant rule, but as a present shepherd. And in that recovered awareness, you can choose what honors life rather than what feeds a moment. The pause, then, is not a gap in love. It is the ground where love learns how to be holy. There will be days when 3 breaths feel like a river and your thumb trembles with habit. On those days, say, my name between the breaths, Jesus on the inhale, mercy on the exhale. Or simply, help me, Lord. I hear quickly, I come quietly. I steady the hands that have been quick to trade away their peace. I crown you with the confidence to be slow when slow is sacred. And when you rise from the pause, your yes will be cleaner, your no will be kinder, your boundary will be brighter, because it will be spoken from your center, not from your fear. Practice this in small moments so it is ready in the large ones. Practice when a friend stirs a minor agitation, when a headline tries to steal your breath, when your own memory beckons you to revisit an ache at midnight. 3 breaths, 3 questions. Phone down, hand on heart, peace as witness, and listen. If peace gives you permission to proceed, walk with me 1 clear step at a time. If peace gives you a hand to wait, sit with me and let waiting be your obedience. Both are faith. Both are love. Both build the life that will not bend beneath the next storm of feeling. Go slowly, beloved, not as one dragging chains, but as one led by light. A holy pause is not hesitation. It is the moment you reclaim your center and refuse to be led by urgency. Stand in the doorway with me until the spell breaks. Then answer in freedom, for where my spirit is, there is liberty. 2 Corinthians 3:17. And the liberty I give you now is this: you do not have to rush to be righteous. You do not have to hurry to be held. You do not have to prove you are kind by abandoning your peace. You are mine. Walk as one who knows it, breath by breath, question by question, step by step in the light. My beloved child, come nearer, for now I place the first measure into your hands, the first item on the checklist of your heart: peace versus obsession. I do not scold you for how quickly your heart can run. I taught it to run, but not to run from itself. I am not shaming the surge. I am shepherding it. Hear me plainly. If their reach awakens obsession in you, it is not strengthening love. It is stirring a chain I am teaching you to break. I want you free to love cleanly, not bound to chase relief. Therefore, let us tell the truth about the signs, not to frighten you, but to free you. Obsession whispers like this. Check the screen again, now again. Maybe you missed it. It hands you 1,000 rehearsals for a single sentence and calls that preparation, though your stomach knots and your shoulders creep toward your ears. It trades prayer for performance. What if I word it perfectly, then I will be safe? And it makes the next ping a sacrament of calm, as if a reply could baptize your nervous system. You glance at your phone in the grocery line, at the red light between tasks, and then the tasks unravel. You forget the pot on the stove. You drift from the face in front of you because the face on the screen has become a demand. You begin to bargain with your boundaries. Just one more text, just one more late night. I will keep it surface, I will not get pulled in. But already your peace is spending itself to hold a door you promised to keep closed. As it is written, all things are lawful for me, but I will not be dominated by anything. 1 Corinthians 6:12. Obsession dominates, love dignifies. Obsession shouts, peace speaks. Peace, by contrast, looks ordinary and holy. You can wait without unraveling. You can respond without performing. You still pray, not with a bargain on your lips, but with a steady heart and your daily stewardship, your work, your rest, your care for the small assignments in front of you remains intact. You can place your phone down on purpose and not feel like your oxygen is in it. You may feel desire, yes, hope even, but you can submit that desire to me, and it does not turn feral when I ask it to sit. As it is written, you keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on you, because he trusts in you. Isaiah 26:3. Trust steadies time. Peace rules the room. Colossians 3:15. Let me ask you now, in the place where honesty heals and does not accuse, do you feel more whole or more hungry, more grounded or more frantic, more present with me or more absent from yourself? Do you need their reply to return to your breath, or can you keep breathing while we wait? Do you change your truth to keep their attention, or does truth grow stronger in you as you walk forward? Do you find it easy to bless others today, to notice the sunlight, to finish what you started, or does everything bend toward the altar of that one sound? As it is written, God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. 1 Corinthians 14:33. If confusion has the pen, love is not being written, panic is. Beloved, I know your body remembers old alarms. This is not weakness, this is wiring learned in rooms where attention meant survival and silence meant fear. I formed your frame, I understand your chemistry, I am not intimidated by your habits. Do not call yourself broken because your hands have learned to reach for a certain reassurance. Call yourself mine and let me retrain your reflexes into freedom. The spirit I have given you is not a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. Soundness returns not when you perfectly manage feelings, but when you submit feelings to the rule of my peace, again and again, in small, stubborn, holy ways. So when obsession's markers rise, when you find yourself checking, refreshing, rehearsing, bargaining, say out loud with me, this is not peace, this is a chain. Then do what I taught you in the doorway. Breathe and bless your own boundaries. Put the phone in another room for a set time and let that be worship. Return to one simple duty. Wash the dish, make the bed, finish the line of work before you, and let that be stewardship. Open the scriptures and read a small portion slowly, not to perform devotion, but to anchor attention. Tell me the truth you are tempted to hide. I want them to answer so I can feel okay. Watch how, in confession, the panic begins to lose its roar. As it is written, be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication, With thanksgiving let your requests be made known to God, and my peace, which surpasses understanding, will guard your heart and mind in Christ Jesus. Philippians 4:6-7. Peace does not require you to pretend you don't care. Peace allows you to care without being carried away. Peace will teach you to draft a message and then let it rest until the morning. Peace will allow you to choose silence when silence is stewardship, or words when words are clean. Peace will not let you trade tomorrow's clarity for today's craving. Peace permits hope but refuses idolatry. What is true is not afraid of time. What is false demands a performance. Beloved, learn that I am not delaying love when I deny obsession. I am delivering love from the hooks that would devour it. As it is written, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Galatians 5:22-23. Obsession fights self-control. My spirit forms it. Consider, too, the downstream fruit. After an exchange, do you stand taller in the truth, or do you collapse into secrecy and apology to your own soul? Do you sleep in calm, or lie awake replaying and revising the script, as if the night could accept edits? Do you wake wanting me or wanting a hit? By their fruits you will know them. Matthew 7:20. Not their words, their fruits. If the aftertaste is frantic, bitter, thin, do not call it sweet because it arrived with sugar. If the residue is peace, even with unanswered questions, do not despise its quiet because it did not flare. I am not asking you to harden. I am asking you to be holy. A precious garden must have a holy fence, and obsession is a goat that jumps fences to eat what is tender. Let the fence stand. Let the guard remain. If they grow offended at the boundary that keeps you sane, the boundary has already told you the truth about the source. You are not being cruel by choosing your peace. You are being faithful to the life I am building in you. Love does not require you to be mastered by another's pace. Love delights in the truth and is not frantic to be fed every hour. 1 Corinthians 13:6. Therefore, my beloved child, take this first measure and keep it close. If they awaken obsession, they are not strengthening love. They are stirring a chain I am teaching you to break. Bring the urge to me until its heat cools into light. Refuse to let a ping set your pulse. Answer, if you answer at all, from the place where your breath is steady and your fence is bright. In the days ahead, your reflex will change, your mind will quiet, your heart will learn the rhythm of heaven over the rhythm of hurry. Perfect love casts out fear. 1 John 4:18. Walk with me until fear finds no script to read from in you, and you will know the difference in your bones. Peace as witness, not obsession as master. Go on in this, and I will keep you steady. My beloved child, draw close again, for I am placing the second measure into your hand. We have named obsession and re-enthroned peace. Now we turn to the companion of that peace, clarity. Hear me, clarity is a fruit of my voice. It may not always tell you the answer you hoped for. It may be sobering, it may require a slower path, or even a holy no, but it is clean. It does not require acrobatics in your mind to justify what is misaligned. It does not demand that you rename dark as light so the moment can stay alive. Clarity washes the window rather than dimming the room. It sharpens the line rather than smudging it. It invites you to stand up straight inside your own chest. As it is written, God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. 1 Corinthians 14:33. Peace and clarity walk together. When I am leading, they agree. Confusion, by contrast, is a counterfeit fog. It is not the noble mystery of my timing. It is the noise of mixed signals that make you spend yourself decoding instead of living. It looks like hot and cold cycles, warm words when they want comfort, frost when you want truth. It dresses compromise in poetry. We are special. We don't need labels. Let's not ruin it by defining it. I'm not ready to commit, but don't talk to anyone else, and then asks you to call that freedom. It builds a scavenger hunt out of a simple question and names your desire for clarity pressure. It insists that kindness equals silence. It leads you to consult the tea leaves of punctuation and timing as if a comma could be covenant. Beloved, that is not me. That is the fog that keeps you walking in circles while your holy work sits waiting. As it is written, your ears shall hear a word behind you, saying, "This is the way, walk in it," when you turn to the right or when you turn to the left. Isaiah 30:21. My direction is not a riddle designed to drain you. It is a steadying voice that makes the path simple, even when it is narrow. Let us listen to the language that has been living in your throat, for your tongue often tells the truth before your plans do. When you hear yourself say, "I don't know where I stand," you are not describing a grand romance. You are reporting a lack of safety. When you whisper, "I'm always guessing," you are not confessing humility. You are confessing an atmosphere of instability that keeps you small. When your soul says, "I'm afraid to ask," you are not protecting peace. You are protecting a structure that collapses under truth. Notice the patterns: perpetual guessing, careful editing of your needs, delaying your questions until after their good mood, bracing for the dip after every high, explaining away the ache with myths of destiny. Maybe the timing is off. Maybe it will settle once they see my heart. Time will not heal what truth refuses to name. If you must live in confusion to keep the connection, you are paying for closeness with your clarity. I do not blame you for hoping, for waiting, for believing all things. I made your heart capacious and your faith resilient. But, beloved, love rejoices in the truth. It does not rejoice in the spinning of stories that cost you sobriety. It does not require you to mistrust your own eyes to stay at the table. Therefore, let us make this simple. For simplicity is mercy. Clarity looks like being able to say, in plain words, "This is what is being offered," and here, in plain words, "Yes, no, or not yet for these reasons," and then seeing actions agree with those words over time. Clarity looks like the freedom to ask direct questions without punishment. Clarity looks like boundaries discussed, not dodged. Intentions documented in behavior, not just in midnight eloquence. Clarity looks like you becoming more honest in prayer because you are not expending your honesty on keeping a story intact. Now, test it with me. After you speak, do you understand more, or do you collect hints to assemble a puzzle that keeps changing shapes? When you ask for simple definitions, what are we doing? What can I expect? Where are we heading? Do you meet steadiness, or do you meet humor, diversion, and a compliment as a substitute for an answer? When you state a boundary, is it honored with respect, or negotiated down with urgency? When a mistake is made, is it owned and repaired, or explained until the explanation becomes a fog bank? My beloved child, confusion breeds in atmospheres where truth is penalized and performance is rewarded. Do not reward fog with access. Remember also how your body testifies. It keeps the record even when your mind tries to tidy the minutes. In clarity, your shoulders come down, your jaw unclenches, your appetite for simple joys returns. Your prayers lengthen because you do not have to hurry them through a turnstile of anxiety. In confusion, your ribs feel tight, your sleep shortens, your conversations with me become hurried negotiations. Your friends hear you say, "Maybe I'm too much," more than they hear you say, "I feel safe." Safety is not a luxury in love. It is a precondition. Love that fears questions cannot carry covenant. Do not be afraid that seeking clarity will make you harsh. Seeking clarity will make you honest. I am not teaching you suspicion. I am teaching you stewardship. A precious garden must have a holy fence, and words are one slat of that fence. You are allowed to ask, "What do you mean?" You are allowed to say, I am confused. I need clean lines to proceed. You are allowed to step back when clean lines are denied. If clarity offends the connection was being fed by your confusion. If truth shrinks their presence, they were living on your uncertainty, not on my light. As it is written, the entrance of your words gives light. It gives understanding to the simple. Psalm 119, 130. Let light enter. Turn on the lamps. Write down what has been said and compare it to what has been done. List what you know versus what you assume. Bring the assumptions into prayer and let me burn off what does not belong to you. Invite wise counsel to read the same lines without the haze of chemistry. You will notice how drama evaporates in the presence of simple sentences. You will notice how your fear of asking begins to look like reverence for a false altar. You will notice how, when you stand in light, some invitations thin into mere shadows. Do not call that thinning a tragedy. Call it truth setting you free. John 8:32. There are connections that will detoxify when you insist on clarity, and the ones I am authoring will welcome it. They will not punish you for asking. They will pause to align. They will prefer a clean path over a thrilling maze. The counterfeit will attempt to keep you guessing, to keep you grasping. The true will invite you into rest, even if the answer is not now, even if the answer is no. For a holy no given in light is safer than 1,000 maybes murmured in the fog. Your peace was not purchased to be spent on perpetual decoding. Your mind was not anointed to become a spyglass for contradictions. Therefore, my beloved child, let this be your second measure. Refuse to purchase closeness with your clarity. If the connection requires your confusion to stay alive, it is not from me. If clarity strengthens it, it can be tested. If clarity shrinks it, let it shrink and bless the space that returns. I will meet you there with the whisper that steadies wanderers. This is the way. Walk in it. Isaiah 30:21. And as you walk, you will discover that what you thought you would lose by telling the truth was never truly yours. But what remains after the fog clears, that is your portion, that is your peace, that is the path on which I lead you, step by step, in clean light. My beloved child, come nearer, for I place the third measure into your hands, fruit versus flattering words. You have learned to pause and to prize clarity. Now I will teach you how to shift from speech to evidence, from charm to character, from what sounds sweet in a moment to what actually builds life over time. I do not want you to be ruled by eloquence or entangled by compliments that only decorate an unchanged pattern. Words can sparkle while the root stays the same. A promise can glow while the path remains crooked. Therefore, let us weigh with a different scale. As it is written, you will know them by their fruits. Matthew 7:20. And again, a tree is known by its fruit. Luke 6:44. Not by its blossoms, not by the shade it promises in spring, but by what it actually carries in season after season. Beloved, flattery speaks to your ache without taking responsibility for its cause. It finds the soft place in you and presses it, not to heal it, but to reopen a door that your peace had begun to close. It says, you are unlike anyone else, but will not become anyone new. It says, I miss you, but it does not miss holiness. It says, God told me, and then lives as if God never spoke of repentance, order, or stewardship. It quotes Scripture to gain your trust while ignoring Scripture to shape its life. This is flattery without formation. This is affection without alteration. This is spiritual language used as a key to your gate, instead of a lamp to their path. Do not sell access to your life for the price of pretty sentences. Fruit, by contrast, is quiet, steady, and provable. Fruit looks like consistency, showing up when the thrill is low and the task is ordinary. Fruit looks like repentance that does more than cry. It changes course, it makes amends, It calls the same friend to say, I was wrong, not just to say, I was sad. Fruit looks like truthfulness that does not twist, confessing specifics without demanding you pretend they were vague. Fruit looks like purity that protects both hearts, not because fear forbids touch, but because honor refuses to awaken intimacy without covenant. Fruit looks like patience that honors your pace and refuses to weaponize loneliness. Fruit looks like respect for your boundaries without negotiation, not simply once, but again and again when moods shift. Fruit looks like accountability to more than your approval. Voices of wisdom, a pastor, a mentor, a community that can say, we are watching this life grow, and can testify to genuine change. Fruit looks like spiritual alignment that deepens over time, prayer that becomes practice, confession that becomes character, intention that becomes integrity. Let me make it simpler still, for simplicity guards you. When you hear, I've changed, do not deny hope, ask for harvest. If change is real, it welcomes time, it invites witnesses, it bears the weight of small, repeated faithfulness. When you hear, I'm sorry, do not despise tenderness, look for repair. Sorry drafts a plan, clarifies what will be different, and keeps the promise when the old trigger returns. When you hear, I'll be better, do not shame desire. Measure better by behaviors that hold when no one is applauding. As it is written, either make the tree good and its fruit good, or make the tree bad and its fruit bad. For the tree is known by its fruit. Matthew 12:33. I am not asking you to be suspicious. I am asking you to be a gardener who knows the difference between a flower painted on a rock and a living vine. Beloved, remember how peace stands at the gate of your heart as a guard. Flattery tries to slip past the guard with a bouquet. Fruit waits at the gate and asks, what honors your fence? Flattery moves fast because time is its enemy. Fruit is unafraid of time because time is its friend. Flattery overpromises and underperforms, then returns with louder words to drown out yesterday's lack. Fruit underpromises and overperforms and needs fewer words as the evidence grows. Flattery apologizes to gain re-entry. Fruit apologizes to gain resemblance to me. Now test with me, gently but firmly. After their words, do patterns shift? Do late nights become early honesty? Do broken appointments become kept commitments? Do hidden threads get brought into the light with named names and dated dates? Is there alignment between what is said in private and what is lived in public? When you draw a boundary, does the conversation become cleaner, or do the compliments multiply to talk the fence down? When you speak of holiness, do you hear eagerness to grow or cleverness to get around it? When you ask for accountability, do they bring a real person into the circle or merely reference a vague conversation that no one can verify? By their fruits you will know them. Matthew 7:20. I do not condemn your delight in kind words. I fashioned you to respond to blessing and to glow under honor. A heart that softens at tenderness is not naive, it is human. But, beloved, a precious garden must have a holy fence, and the gate opens to fruit, not flattery. Do not let a compliment rent a room in a house that is under renovation. Do not let nostalgia lease what consecration is reclaiming. Do not let "you're amazing" become a pass that excuses the absence of repentance, clarity, and care. Listen also to the fruit in you, because what a voice builds in your life is part of the proof of its source. Under their influence, are you more faithful to prayer or more frayed at the edges? Do you keep your promises to yourself, your sleep, your work, your friendships, your healing appointments, or do you abandon them to keep up with a constantly moving target? Do you grow in the fear of the Lord, a holy awe that makes sin distasteful? Or do you grow in tolerance for small shadows that become larger by permission? Where my spirit is at work, there is liberty, but also order. There is joy, but also sobriety. There is warmth, but also wait. As it is written, the wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy and good fruits. James 3:17. Good fruits, not good feelings only. You may say, but they speak scripture, they sing worship, they know the right phrases. Remember, my child, the enemy can quote scripture but cannot produce the fruit of the Spirit. He can mimic the sound of devotion, but he cannot sustain the substance of transformation. Therefore, test not by vocabulary, but by visible life. Test not by intensity of affection, but by integrity of action. Test not by the thrill of pursuit, but by the tenderness of patience. As it is written, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. Galatians 5:22-23. Where these grow, you will find me tending. Therefore, my beloved child, do not let flattering words purchase access. Only fruit proves what a voice is truly building in your life. Keep your holy fence bright. Welcome conversations that come with harvest baskets, not with empty hands and busy mouths. Bless the one who says, "Give me time to show you," and bless the space it takes to see. Refuse the rush that says, "Believe me now, or you are unkind." You are not unkind when you ask for fruit. You are wise. You are not withholding when you wait. You are walking with me, and I, who planted you by streams of water, will make you like a tree that yields its fruit in its season. Your leaf will not wither, and in all that I send you to do, you will prosper. Psalm 1:3. Walk in this assurance. Time and truth are on your side, and so am I. My beloved child, come nearer and listen in the place where your breath slows and your shoulders lower, for now I set a bright line around what I have been building in you. You have learned to weigh peace against obsession, clarity against confusion, fruit against flattery. Now you must protect what you have learned. A precious garden must have a holy fence, not to hide its beauty, but to keep its beauty from being trampled by haste and hunger that do not honor what is sacred. As it is written, keep your heart with all diligence, for from it flow the springs of life. Proverbs 4:23. This keeping is not hardness, it is stewardship. It is love for the life I am maturing in you. It is the refusal to let emotion appoint itself as gatekeeper when honor was always meant to hold the keys. Hear me with tenderness and certainty. Access is earned in honor, not given in emotion. If it is from me, it will honor your holy fence. If it is a counterfeit, it will try to climb it. Do not be surprised by the test. Thieves do not use the door. They scale walls and sweet-talk windows. As it is written, he who does not enter by the door but climbs in by another way is a thief and a robber. John 10:1. I am your shepherd. I lead through gates, through order, through peace that guards. Philippians 4:7. What I send will come by the door, not by a rush under the hedge. Beloved, boundaries are how love keeps its shape. Without walls, a city is plundered. Without a fence, a garden is eaten bare. As it is written, a man without self-control is like a city broken into and left without walls. Proverbs 25:28. Therefore let your self-control be your wall, and let your peace be your watchman, and let your clarity be the lamp on the post. Do not call this cruelty. Call it holiness. Holiness is not the absence of affection. It is affection ordered toward life. Holiness is not the refusal to connect. It is the choice to connect in a way that preserves your calling and protects your future. Now I will make it very practical, because wisdom that cannot live in your thumbs and in your calendar is not yet wisdom. You are allowed to respond slowly. Time is not a weapon. Time is a filter that reveals what is true. You are allowed to say, I will respond tomorrow after I have prayed, and then actually wait. You are allowed to ask direct questions and to require direct answers. You are allowed to protect your evenings for rest and to be unavailable when your soul needs quiet. You are allowed to say, I am not emotionally available for late-night processing, and not apologize for tending your nervous system. You are allowed to stop giving the benefits of covenant to the level of acquaintance. You are allowed to require commitment before you give sacred access. You are allowed to say no without spiraling into over-explanation. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Matthew 5:37. You may say, but if I slow down, I might miss something. Hear me. What is from me is not afraid of time, prayer, or clarity. Only counterfeits demand instant access, instant reassurance, instant agreement. Counterfeits escalate urgency, weaponize silence, and call your boundary a punishment. The true honors pace, asks what honors your fence, and accepts a clean no as a holy guardrail rather than a personal insult. If pressing for immediate intimacy sits at the foot of your fence, do not open the gate to prove you are kind. You are not required to come down from your healing to explain why the fence exists. What is true will walk to the door, knock, and wait. What is false will rattle the latch and call you cruel for locking it. Practice this with me. When a message arrives that stirs your adrenaline, pause, breathe. Place your phone face down and ask, what does my piece say? Draft your words and let them rest. Choose sentences that are clean and brief. I'm not available to talk tonight. I need clarity before we continue. Please put your intentions in plain words. This pace is not healthy for me. Do not argue. Do not litigate your worth. Do not offer the courtroom your diary. Your life is not on trial. Your garden is under cultivation. If they respond with honor, the conversation will grow clearer. If they respond with pressure, you have your answer without another round. Set hours for your attention and keep them as liturgy. Choose windows when you will look at messages and windows when you will not. Turn notifications off after a certain time and call that worship, not withdrawal. Keep private rooms in your soul where only covenant may sit. Refuse intimate disclosures with those who will not carry accountability. Guard pictures, stories, vulnerabilities that belong within promise, not within possibility. Do not awaken love before its time. Song of Solomon 2:7. If a voice is from me, it will bless your restraint. It will not ask you to hurry holiness. Some will say, boundaries kill connection. Listen to your shepherd. Boundaries do not kill what I author. They kill what would have killed you. If the connection starves when fed with honesty, time, and prayer, then the connection was living on your anxiety, not on my life. If a yes must be extracted by pressure, it is not a yes that leads to peace. If a no must be punished, it is not a relationship safe enough for your heart to grow. I am not training you to be suspicious. I am training you to be faithful. Faithful to the truth in you, faithful to the call on you, faithful to the future I am preparing that needs your energy awake and your conscience quiet. Remember also how honor sounds. Honor asks, how can I make this easier for your peace? Honor says, I can wait. Honor brings statements that match actions and checks with your boundaries before planning access to your time. Honor listens when you say, not tonight, and returns later without sulking. Honor does not need to be begged for clarity. It speaks clearly to relieve your mind. Honor brings witnesses, community, mentors, pastors, because it is not afraid to be seen. The voice of honor is me making room for you to be whole. The voice of flattery without honor is an echo in the wilderness, drawing you out of the city to strip your walls. Do not follow an echo. Follow the shepherd. As it is written, do not give dogs what is holy, and do not throw your pearls before swine. Matthew 7:6. Your tenderness is a pearl. Your story is a pearl. Your restored peace is a pearl. Pearls belong in the safe hands of those who will not trample them, and your fence is how you discern those hands. As it is written, "Be holy, for I am holy." 1 Peter 1:16. Holiness in this hour looks like boundaries that guard life so that love can last. Holiness looks like answering when your peace can stand beside your words. Holiness looks like saying, "No further," not because you lack compassion, but because you have conviction. Therefore, my beloved child, bless the fence I am building with you. Paint its posts with prayer. Nail its slats with clarity. Let peace keep watch at its gate. If it is from me, it will honor your holy fence. If it is a counterfeit, it will try to climb it. Do not be afraid when some hands slip away at the sight of a boundary. That is mercy revealing what the fence was meant to reveal. Walk in this freedom. You do not owe your garden to every passerby. You owe your garden to the one who planted you, to the future I am forming, to the covenant I will confirm in its time. Go on in peace with a bright fence and a steady heart, and watch how life begins to flourish within the lines I draw for your good. My beloved child, stay with me at the gate a little longer, for now I teach you to ask counsel before you move, to let wisdom sit beside your peace, to let my voice be the seal upon your yes and your no. You have learned to fence your garden, and you have learned to weigh words by fruit. Now learn not to sign treaties in the twilight. As it is written, the men of Israel took of their provisions, but they did not ask counsel of the Lord. Joshua 9:14. Joshua and the leaders stood before men with worn-out sandals, torn wineskins, and moldy bread. The story was convincing, the tone humble, the props persuasive. Yet the conclusion was costly because it bypassed my counsel. They made peace, they swore an oath, and only afterward discovered the truth that was living next door. Beloved, do not repeat this mistake with your thumb. Understand what that day teaches you. Some will arrive with believable explanations, emotional humility, spiritual language, and urgent timelines. I've changed more than you know. God told me this is destiny. I'm on a deadline. I flew all night to see you. Please decide now, or I'll lose my chance. They will bring evidence, screenshots, testimonies, patched sandals of past suffering, and the package will look pious and poor, and your compassion will want to open the gate in the name of mercy. But not every plea for mercy is a path to covenant. Some are bids for access without accountability. A convincing story is not the same as divine permission. Ask me before you agree with your thumb. Beloved, hear my practice for you, as simple as breath. When a message lands with sway and strain, place the device down. Put your hand over your chest and pray. Father, expose motive, reveal fruit, guard my peace. Align me with your will. Make my yes clean and my no holy. Say it again if you must, until your breathing matches the prayer. Then wait. Do not fear the quiet. The quiet is where I disentangle the strings you cannot see. As it is written, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Proverbs 3:5-6. I do not direct you through panic, I direct you through peace. I will not rush you into a vow through a notification. Hear me well. I am not the author of alarms that punish your pause. I am the shepherd who stands at the door and guards your heart with peace. Philippians 4:7. Therefore, when pressure says, answer now, you are permitted to answer me first. When charm says, don't overthink it, you are permitted to invite wise counsel to think with you. As it is written, in the multitude of counselors there is safety. Proverbs 11:14. Safety is a mark of my leading, and secrecy is a mark of a snare. Bring your community near. Send the message in its plain words to a trusted friend, a pastor, a mentor, one who loves your future more than your feelings. Ask them, what do you see? What fruit do you find? Do my boundaries look honored here? Watch what happens when the light of many eyes enters. Theatrics flatten, patterns reappear, and motives that tried to hide behind poetry become visible. Those who are from me will not resent your counsel seeking. They will bless it. Those who hope to live off your confusion will mock it. If a voice discourages you from asking counsel, isolates you from witnesses, or frames your pause as punishment, hear the lesson of Gibeon. Props and pressure in the same hand reveal a counterfeit path. Let me give you a holy delay, a simple rule that mirrors the story itself. Joshua learned the truth 3 days after he vowed. Give 3 days to prayer when urgency hums in your bones. It is not a law, it is a kindness. In those days, watch your peace. Does it grow steady or feel siphoned? Watch their fruit. Do actions follow words without you coaching them? Watch for alignment. Do mentors and scripture agree? Or do you collect exceptions to justify an exception? What is from me is not afraid of time, prayer, or testing. What is from me will still be true when the adrenaline drains. Consider the questions we have already learned to ask, now placed under the light of counsel. Does this presence make you more faithful or more frantic? Do their words bring clarity or choreograph confusion? Is honor building a gate or rehearsing how to climb it? Did they come by the door, respecting your pace, your community, your covenant lines? Or did they rattle the latch and call you cruel for locking it? Not every pilgrim's clothing is proof of pilgrimage. The Gibeonites wore the costume of distance to win the privilege of nearness. Counterfeits often pretend to be far from what they are standing next to. Do not be ashamed that you can be moved by a moving story. I do not blame you for tenderness. I fashioned your compassion to reflect my own. But compassion must submit to counsel, or it will spend itself on what cannot carry you. Therefore, marry mercy to wisdom. Hold your phone like a gate key, not like a leash. Draft your response before me and lay it on the altar. This is what I am thinking to say. Does peace stand beside it? I will answer you, not always with thunder, often with a settling, a clean no you can live with, a clean yes you can sustain, a not yet that guards your energy for the great work I have given you. Remember Joshua's lesson and let it protect you without making you hard. He was not evil, he was eager. You are not wrong for wanting to believe. You are wise when you wait. Ask counsel of the Lord. Let my peace be the guard. Let my counsel be the witness. Let time be the friend that reveals what props cannot sustain. And when you finally reply, do so from the place where your yes is clean and your no is holy, knowing you did not trade discernment for drama. A convincing story is not the same as divine permission. Ask me before you agree with your thumb, and I will keep you in perfect peace as you keep your mind stayed on me. Isaiah 26:3. My beloved child, draw close and let me place a mirror before you that shines with scripture, not to shame you, but to steady you. Remember Samson, set apart from the womb, marked by a vow, clothed with strength that did not come from performance, but from consecration. His hair was a sign, but his holiness was the source. He carried a great calling, yet granted unguarded access. He welcomed intimacy without illumination. He let desire speak louder than discernment until what felt like love began to negotiate away the very secret that kept him strong. As it is written, Delilah pressed him daily with her words and urged him, and his soul was vexed to death, so that he told her all his heart. Judges 16:16-17. Beloved, hear the pattern: pressure disguised as affection, persistence masquerading as concern, a long negotiation with holiness until surrender felt like relief. Do not say, "This is ancient and far from me." This story lives today in your phone, in your late-night replies, in the way you keep explaining away red flags because the connection feels powerful. The banter is electric, the silence between messages feels like losing oxygen. Power without purity will drain you. Chemistry without covenant will bend you toward compromise, and then call that bend being understanding. A strong pull is not proof of my approval. If it weakens your consecration, it is not leading you to life. Therefore, test the pull by your peace. Does your chest settle after you speak, or do you need to pace? Do you pray more or perform more? Do you sleep in safety or stare in worry? My voice brings you to stand firm after the emotion settles. The counterfeit must keep the emotion surging to keep you from noticing the erosion. Listen to the questions that guarded Samson's edges and then notice how they were twisted. Where is your strength was asked not to celebrate it, but to extract it. Prove your love was not an invitation to covenant, but a setup for capture. As it is written, she said to him, "How can you say, 'I love you,' when your heart is not with me?" Judges 16:15. Beloved, when affection is used as leverage to buy your boundaries, you are not being loved, you are being negotiated. When apologies arrive with new requests to move old lines, that is not intimacy, that is infiltration. When secrecy is required to keep their interest and community is dismissed as interference, you are not building a future, you are shaving away your strength strand by strand. Therefore ask the diagnostic, am teaching your tongue to speak. Does this connection strengthen your consecration, or does it negotiate it away little by little? Consecration looks like you guarding prayer times instead of shrinking them. Consecration looks like you becoming more truthful, more accountable, more aligned with wisdom and scripture and community. Consecration looks like desire that kneels before peace, attraction that honors boundaries, curiosity that welcomes counsel. Negotiation, by contrast, looks like just this once. Don't make it a big deal. You're overthinking. We don't need to involve others. Prove you trust me by crossing your own line. Negotiation uses tenderness to buy territory it has not earned. Consecration uses tenderness to protect territory that is holy. Beloved, I do not condemn your attraction. I fashioned your capacity to be drawn, to notice beauty, to hunger for connection. I do not blame you for the part of you that longs to be known, or the ache that wakes when someone sees what others ignored. A heart that desires is not dangerous. A heart that lets desire lead is endangered. I am not here to punish your pull. I am here to rescue your calling from being traded for a moment of comfort. As it is written, watch and pray, that you enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. Matthew 26:41. Your willingness is not in question. Your watchfulness is my gift to you now. Consider how the pattern played out for Samson and measure it against your messages. He played with lines, then learned to live on loopholes, then treated proximity as protection. He assumed he could rise as before, even after surrendering the secret of his strength. As it is written, he awoke and said, I will go out as at other times and shake myself free. But he did not know that the Lord had left him. Judges 16:20. Hear me. Do not trust that you can keep awakening from compromises and still carry clarity. Grace will meet you, but grace is here now to keep you from the scissors, to keep you from waking, to find your peace shaved, your discernment dulled, your vision dimmed by choices that felt small at the time. Samson lost his eyes before he returned to his song. How many mornings have you woken foggy and said, I can manage this, while your prayer life dimmed and your boundaries blurred? I am interrupting that drift. Here is how to read your present with the wisdom of that story. If a voice keeps asking you to explain your vows and tempts you to relax them for us, name it. If their delight in you rises when you are most impulsive and cools when you are most prayerful, name it. If honesty shrinks their interest but access, without accountability, inflates it, name it. If you feel the need to hide this connection from the ones who love your future more than your feelings, name it. Where my spirit is, there is liberty, and also the sobriety that refuses to sell the secret places of your strength. 2 Corinthians 3:17. Do not give away the pattern of your peace for the price of a night that leaves you narrating away your own conviction. You may say, "But I feel so alive when we talk." Beloved, not everything that quickens you is making you alive. Some stimuli electrify while quietly emptying your reserves. As it is written, the lips that drip honey lead down to death. Her steps take hold of Sheol. Proverbs 5:3-5. This is not gendered blame. This is spiritual law. Flattery without formation takes you where your soul cannot breathe. I am not silencing joy. I am separating joy from snares so that your joy may be full. John 15:11. My way will not starve you of delight. It will deliver you from the kind that costs your future. Therefore, return to the practice we have carved together. Pause when the pull is loud. Test your peace. Ask counsel before you lend your heart. Speak the diagnostic aloud. This connection must strengthen my consecration, or it cannot have my access. Choose responses that honor your vow. I am keeping my boundaries. See, this pace is not holy for me. Clarity and accountability are non-negotiable. If pressure intensifies, recognize Delilah's method in modern clothes and bless the mercy of exposure. If honor remains, if pace slows, if prayer grows, if community is welcomed, you will find your strength increasing, not leaking. I am with you in this discernment. I do not leave you to wrestle with attractions alone. I am training your hands for war and your fingers for the battle that lives in your notifications. Psalm 144:1. My peace stands like a guard at your gate. Philippians 4:7. Let it decide. Let it keep what builds you and refuse what empties you. And know this with a certainty that steadies your breath. A strong pull is not proof of my approval. If it weakens your consecration, it is not leading you to life. Choose life. Keep your vow. I will satisfy you with goodness that does not demand your strength as payment, and with love that honors your fence, your future, and the anointing I placed upon you. My beloved child, draw near and listen where your breath steadies, for now I teach you the answer you will carry when distraction dresses itself as conversation. You are doing a great work. Your healing is a great work. Your purity is a great work. Your peace is a great work. Your future family, your calling, the rebuilding of trust inside your own ribs. These are not hobbies. They are holy assignments. I am not asking you to abandon love. I am training you to protect it while it is being built. Therefore, hear the sentence I place on your tongue. I am doing a great work, and I cannot come down. As it is written, I am doing a great work, so that I cannot come down. Why should the work cease while I leave it and come down to you? Nehemiah 6:3. Sanballat and Geshem invited Nehemiah to a meeting in the plain of Ono. Friendly words with hostile intent, coffee that cost a covenant. He answered with clarity, then stayed on the wall. 4 times they sent the same message, and 4 times he gave the same reply. As it is written, they sent to me 4 times in the same way, and I answered them in the same manner. Nehemiah 6:4. Beloved, learn this rhythm. When pressure repeats, truth may repeat. You do not owe a new explanation to an old manipulation. You do not have to come down from your healing to prove you are kind. Now we will make it practical in the place where your impulses live. Your thumbs are not your master. Your peace is the guard at the gate. Philippians 4:7. When a message arrives with the tone of, "Come talk, it's nothing," hear the wall under your feet and answer from your assignment. Say, "I appreciate the message. I'm focused on my healing and cannot meet." Say, "I am doing a great work and will not come down for late-night conversations." If clarity is your intent, put it in writing during the day. Say, "Please state your intentions plainly. Vague contact does not honor my boundaries." Say, "I'm open to a paced, accountable conversation with a mentor present. Otherwise, I decline." Say, "I'm not available for this kind of communication. Wishing you well." Say, "No further contact, please." Then let silence keep the fence. You may tremble after you send it. You may feel the old urge rise to soften the line, to send a follow-up smile, to leave the gate cracked so no one calls you cold. That is not compassion. That is the fear of loss rehearsing its lines. Beloved, breathe. Put your hand on your chest and pray Nehemiah's prayer. "Now, O God, strengthen my hands." Nehemiah 6:9. Strengthen my hands to hold the line I have drawn with you. Strengthen my hands to keep building the wall of peace you have commanded me to build. When they reply with indignation, "So you're too holy now," answer once if peace permits, not to convince but to be clear. Kindness is not access. I'm keeping my boundaries. If they respond with silence testing games, do not descend to close the gap with your comfort. Silence in such an hour is not cruelty. It is obedience to the pace of your healing. If they send a flood of charm, remember, a convincing story is not the same as divine permission. You are not required to offer audience to every performance. Practice holy brevity. Do not decorate your no to make it palatable for someone who has no appetite for your peace. Do not stack explanations on the altar of their comfort. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Matthew 5:37. If it is from me, it will honor the clean edges of your words. If it is a counterfeit, it will hunt for the softness of your old self, the part that apologized for having needs, that paid for harmony with hemorrhaging peace. I am binding up that wound in you now. I am teaching you to tolerate the holy discomfort of not managing another's emotions. Beloved, hear this deliverance. You are not responsible for rescuing someone from the boundary that reveals them. Your kindness is not graded by how quickly you descend to soothe another's alarm. Your maturity is measured by how faithfully you guard the work I have placed in your hands. Picture Nehemiah, stones rising, gaps closing, a city learning to breathe behind new walls, and then picture a ladder tilted toward Ono, just to talk. Every descent costs mortar. Every unguarded meeting delays the gate. Do not trade tomorrow's safety for today's smoothing. If honor appears at your gate, it will accept an honorable pace. Right, "I need 3 days to pray. I'll reply on Friday." Right, "Please bring this to our next meeting with counsel present." Right, "State your next step in one sentence. If we cannot be clear, we should pause." Watch what clarity does. It quiets bait. It dignifies the true. It refuses to subsidize the false. If the other voice honors your fence, the conversation will gain weight and light. If it bristles, you have your answer without a debate. You will be tempted to audit your tone, to revisit every word you sent, to keep the door warm so no one's feelings get cold. That is the old economy. In the new, you entrust outcomes to me. You plant the seed of a clean sentence and water it with prayer, not with panic. You allow time to do its exposing work. You let peace answer more questions than your paragraphs ever could. As it is written, you keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on you, because he trusts in you. Isaiah 26:3. Therefore stand on your wall, my beloved child. When the valley of Ono calls, remember its name. Oh no. Smile if you must, but keep your feet where I placed them. Your healing is a great work. Your purity is a great work. Your peace is a great work. Your future family and calling are a great work. You do not have to come down from your healing to prove you are kind. Stay with me on the wall. Answer with clarity, move with peace, invite honor. And when honor refuses to come, let silence be your sentinel. I am with you, strengthening your hands, guiding your replies, and finishing the wall that will let love live safely within it. My beloved child, now let me speak to the ache that often arrives after you have stood your ground, after you answered with clarity, after you kept your feet on the wall and let silence do its holy work. You feel the quiet and call it loss. You feel the distance and name it abandonment. You watch a door no longer swinging and fear you have failed love. Hear me. Some silence is not punishment, it is protection. Some distance is not rejection, it is deliverance. Do not call it a loss when I stop what was draining you. Some closed doors are answered prayers. I know the tenderness that trembles in you. You did not merely interact with a number on a screen. You invested hope. You built a picture. You curated a possibility. You laughed at a version of tomorrow that softly wrote itself with their name. So when you do not reply, when you choose to pause, when you allow a thread to go unpulled, you are not only losing contact, you are grieving the fantasy, the potential, the version of them you hoped would appear. I do not mock that grief. I meet it. Bring it to me without polishing it for piety. Say it plainly. I miss the idea of us. Say it honestly. I am tempted to rescue what refuses to honor me. Say it fully. Part of me wants to be chosen even by what does not carry peace. I hear you. I hold you. I am not scolding you for desire. I am shepherding desire into freedom. As it is written, every branch in me that bears fruit, he prunes, that it may bear more fruit. John 15:2. Pruning does not insult the branch. Pruning honors the branch by freeing it from what siphons its strength. When I prune, I am not punishing your capacity to love. I am protecting it. When I cut, I am not cutting you off from life. I am cutting off what was quietly chaining you. Your attention hijacked by endless loops, your sleep broken by imaginary conversations, your focus scattered by hope that had no shepherd, your appetite for peace replaced by a gnawing hunger for reassurance. Do you remember the prayer you whispered at midnight? God, give me peace. God, protect my heart. God, keep me from another entanglement. Beloved, sometimes my answer is not a sensation but a severing. Sometimes my yes arrives as a no. You finally have the strength to keep. Consider how I have worked with my sons and daughters before you, so you will recognize my hand now. As it is written, after Lot had separated from him, the Lord said to Abram, "Lift up now your eyes," and I expanded his vision. Genesis 13:14-15. Abram did not lose destiny when he let separation stand. He received clarity he could not carry while managing what I had not commanded him to hold. Separation made space for sight. So it will be with you. Do not treat every departure as devastation. Some departures are preparations. Some empty spaces are mercy. When the needless weight leaves, your lungs remember how to breathe, and your eyes learn again how to see beyond a single thread. You say, "But it still hurts." I do not deny it. Pain is not proof you chose wrongly. Pain is often proof you have stopped numbing. Let your tears water the ground I have cleared. Let your lament be clean. Name what you hoped for, name what is true, and then let me rename the moment. Not failure, but formation. Not rejection, but redirection. Not abandonment, but alignment. As it is written, the Father prunes so that there may be more fruit, more patience that is not paid for with panic, more joy that does not require disobedience to taste, more love that increases your holiness instead of negotiating it away. John 15:2-11. Release the need to be chosen by what does not honor you. Release the need to be understood by what refuses to submit to light. Release the reflex to make yourself small so that dishonor can feel large. When you do not reply to manipulation, you are not being cruel. You are refusing to rent space in your soul to a voice that will not pay with fruit. When you let a thread go unpulled, you are not ghosting goodness. You are granting gravity to peace. When you put your phone down and refuse to resurrect what I have pruned, you are partnering with me. Here is a practice to anchor your surrender. Place the device aside. Put your hand on your chest. Pray, Father, I release the illusion. I bless the boundary. I receive your pruning as mercy. Tell me 3 things you lost that were actually chains. Lost the compulsion to explain yourself at midnight. Lost the marathon of composing perfect replies. Lost the fear that if you do not respond, you will be forgotten. Then tell me 3 things you are already gaining. Gained an evening of unfractured rest. Gained a morning without knots in your stomach. Gained the steadying sense that your life is not controlled by a notification. Let your mouth confess what your spirit knows. The cutting is kindness. Beloved, I know the temptation to revisit the closed door, to test the handle, to peer through the keyhole and wonder if maturity on the other side might have finally arrived. Hear me. I am not withholding reformation. I am insisting that reformation be proven by fruit, not purchased with your peace. As it is written, by their fruits you will know them. Matthew 7:20. If I am at work in them, my work will not need your boundary to be lowered to continue. My work can find the door at the right time, in the right way, with clarity, with counsel, with honor. Your job in this hour is not to be the doorman for every memory. Your job is to abide in me and guard the life we are growing. John 15:5, Proverbs 4:23. Do not call it a loss when I stop what was draining you. When a conversation that fed confusion is quieted, you have been delivered. When a performance no longer purchases your attention, you have been set free. When your appetite for peace returns and your mind ceases bargaining with your convictions, rejoice quietly. This is what answered prayer feels like in the bones. You asked me to lead you by peace. I am leading you by peace. You asked me to protect your future. I am protecting your future. You asked me to make you whole. I am keeping your yes holy by making your no firm. Therefore, receive the pruning as a kiss from a wise gardener. Keep your eyes lifted like Abram. Bless the boundary like Nehemiah. Guard your consecration like Samson should have. And when the ache whispers, prove you are still kind by replying, speak back the truth. Kindness is not access. Obedience is my kindness to my own soul. Walk with me in this gentle, unspectacular miracle, the quiet where your heart stops leaking. I am with you in the silence, not as an absence, but as a presence. I will fill the space I have cleared. I will grow the fruit I have made room for, and you will see, not far from now, why my mercy sometimes arrives as a closed door, and why your unreturned message was not coldness but covenant with your own peace. My beloved child, come close now to the center where I name you. Before I hand you sentences for your lips and timing for your thumb, let me tell you who you are so that whatever you say springs from what I have said first. You are mine. You belong to me. I have called you by name, and your worth does not wobble with anyone's reception. As it is written, fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. Isaiah 43:1. Hear me. You do not text to be chosen. You text because you are already chosen. You do not reply to be loved. You reply from being loved. You do not negotiate access to prove that you are kind. You set clean boundaries because your kindness now includes the stewardship of your own soul. Therefore, let this be your understanding. Your response becomes your standard. Every sentence you send teaches both your heart and the other heart what is holy in your life. Every pause you honor becomes a fence post. Every over-explanation you offer becomes an invitation to ignore the gate. I am not shaming you for former patterns. I am inviting you into maturity where love does not have to mortgage peace to exist. As it is written, let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. Colossians 3:15. Let peace be the umpire, the guard at the gate, the firm, quiet voice that settles disputes before they enter. This is the maturity I am forming in you now, no longer chasing reassurance as though anxiety were an authority, no longer negotiating with disrespect to keep the illusion of closeness, no longer handing out access to soothe the fear that if you are not available, you will be abandoned. You are not abandoned. I am with you. You are not required to purchase belonging with self-betrayal. As it is written, the Spirit Himself bears witness with our spirit that we are children of God. Romans 8:16. The witness of my spirit is your resting place. Let your replies come from that rest. When the ping arrives and your heart begins to race, do not despise yourself for feeling. Simply return to the witness. Take the holy pause we have practiced and run the checklist that takes only seconds but saves you from weeks of untying knots. Ask, is my peace guarding me? Philippians 4:7. Is my mind clear or clouded by urgency? 2 Timothy 1:7. Is there fruit I can name from this connection? Not flattery, but fruit. Matthew 7:20. Does this honor the holy fence I have raised around my garden, or does it try to climb it? Proverbs 4:23. Have I asked counsel of the Lord, or am I agreeing with my thumb before I have agreed with my spirit? Joshua 9:14. If these answers gather into light, proceed in light. If they gather into confusion, delay. Confusion is not your shepherd. From identity, you will learn to speak cleanly. Clean words are few, honest, and unhooked from outcomes. Clean words do not manipulate, they illuminate. Clean words are not designed to keep you from being called cold. They are designed to keep you from being led by fear. As it is written, speaking the truth in love, we grow up in all things. Ephesians 4:15. Therefore say what is true without bargains hidden beneath your breath. Say, I need time to pray. I will respond on Thursday. Say, this pace is not holy for me. Say, disrespect does not have access to me. Say, I am willing to talk when counsel is present. Say, no, thank you. Then let time and peace do what pressure can never do. Notice what begins to change when you answer from who you are. You stop begging for clarity and discover you are living as someone led by my peace. You stop rereading threads in the night and begin to sleep because you have trusted me with the outcome. You stop writing paragraphs to comfort another's alarm and begin to offer sentences that honor your assignment. There is less theater and more truth, less urgency and more weight, fewer promises and more pattern. You will feel the former shallows calling you back. One more message, one more smoothing. But remember, every return to confusion is a tuition payment to a school you have already graduated from. Let me be explicit about the standards that love establishes. Love is patient, and patience does not panic reply to prove availability. Love is kind, and kindness does not enable cycles that keep you bleeding. Love rejoices in truth, and truth does not hide from counsel or ask for secrecy to survive. 1 Corinthians 13:4-6. When you respond from identity, you practice love that protects your future while honoring theirs with clarity. When you refrain from responding, you refuse to sell your peace for the price of calming someone else's discomfort. Both responding and refraining can be holy when they are led by peace and emptied of manipulation. Do not measure success by whether the other person applauds your boundary. Measure it by whether your soul stands straighter in my presence. Do not measure kindness by how many caveats you added to make your no easy to swallow. Measure it by whether your words remain true, brief, and bright. As it is written, let your yes be yes and your no be no. Matthew 5:37. You owe no one a performance, but you owe me your obedience, and your obedience will always walk with peace as its witness. If you stumble and send a message from anxiety, do not spiral. Return, breathe, confess, adjust. You are not back at the beginning. You are beloved in process, and even your corrections are part of becoming whole. I am not keeping score to condemn you. I am keeping you to complete you. As it is written, he who began a good work in you will bring it to completion. Philippians 1:6. Let that assurance quiet the trembling place that thinks one flawed reply unravels all your growth. It does not. We will practice again. Now, beloved, receive my blessing for action. Whether you reply or refrain, let it be clean. No panic, no performance, no hidden bargains. Let the peace of God guard your heart and mind in Christ Jesus. Philippians 4:7. Let the witness of the Spirit remind you, you are mine. Romans 8:16. Let wisdom be proved by her children. Watch for fruit. Luke 7:35. Matthew 7:20. And when you must choose in a breath, choose as one who is led, not lured, centered, not coerced, loved, not lacking. Go in peace, walk in freedom, answer from identity. When you respond from identity, you stop begging for clarity and start living as someone led by my peace. I am with you in every pause and every word, a lamp to your feet and a light upon your path. Psalm 119:105. I will keep you, I will guide you, and I will establish a new standard in you that teaches the world how to love you, while it trains your own heart to live unafraid.